Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
And joining us tonight, we have Vanessa Ionta Wright.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I get like a cool nickname? Can I be like,
of course,
Vicious Vanessa?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Vicious, violent Vanessa.
Yep.
I love it.
Very good. Very good. So, Women in Horror Month. Want to thank Trista for setting this interview up. And thank you for coming. So we were talking beforehand about a festival. So we'll talk about your films and festivals, but I'll let everyone know about your film festival, Renegade Film Festival.
Yeah, we just had our first fest under the new name. It was formerly Women in Horror. And it was just past weekend, and it was amazing. It was just so good to be around everyone and all the filmmakers and screenwriters coming back together, and just all of that creative energy. It was beautiful. It was inspiring. The films were amazing. I'm still high from it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, you said that started in 2017?
It did. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what was when did you start? Well, you started in 2017, but what was your reasoning for starting your own festival?
We were actually going to film festivals ourselves with screenplays and short films, and a lot of the genre fests, I was kind of shocked. I was like, where are all the women? Like, there was always such a small percentage, and I know there's a ton of us. So I was like, maybe we create a space and they'll come. If you build it, they will come. And they did in droves, and it was amazing and wonderful. And I rebranded in 2021 to be a little bit more inclusive. And hence Renegade was born.
Right. And like many people watching this, probably, I missed going to the festivals. It's cool that virtual, at least it's some interaction. It's better than nothing, but it's not the same as actually, watching stuff with people. And a big part of the festivals is interacting after the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I think where you get the most benefit from it. It's one thing to watch a film at home. It's another thing to watch it in an audience full of people, and then another to be able to actually talk to the people who created the film and honestly just talk shop. I think our first night, I was so tired, I didn't sleep. We were up until I was up until 2:30. Everyone else was up until 4:30, just sitting around eating pizza, talking horror. And I was like, this is what perfect. We all need.
Yeah, I was right. For people who haven't been to one, I don't think it matters what level. Like, if you want to make movies, if you make movies, if you don't care about making, you just like them. There's nothing like going to the film festival.
I agree. I tell people all the time, even if they don't have a project, they should go, because one, you get to see films that you might not be able to see anywhere else. Some of these films only go to festivals, and that's it. And yeah, it gives you a chance to just be around some like-minded individuals who are into the same crazy stuff you are.
Yeah, and then it's cool if they do, a year later, they might pop up on Shudder, or they come out. It's like, hey, I got to see this, before everyone else did. Or like you said, sometimes, and it's kind of sad in a way, but it played at the festival, and then it never got. Sometimes you wonder why, but you get to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something really special about that, I think, to kind of see someone's art that the rest of the world doesn't really have access to.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Moore says Vanessa is the best. Renegade Film Festival is amazing this year.
Yes, it was. He's sweet. He was there actually in 2020 with a film, and came back this year to kind of help out with Gruesome Magazine and host a couple of the Q&As. So he's kind of become a huge part of it.
That's a good way. If you are an independent film, you get to meet other people, and maybe down the road work together. It's there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah, I'm always pleasantly surprised, and it's kind of one of my favorite things about this is there will be people who come to the fest either as fans, as filmmakers, maybe as just a screenwriter, and they all meet and they collaborate and they come back the next year with a brand new project. And it's like, this meeting, birthed that, like them coming together, got them inspired to go create. And I think that's just the cherry on top of that crazy.
To me, that's one of the cooler things about, I don't want to say smaller, but I guess the smaller festivals is there's a real community aspect where it's people that come every year.
Absolutely.
They could be local or and some of the bigger ones are great, but some of them are so spread out. If there are multiple screens, it's not quite the same. You're not all watching on the same, same film at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's one of the great things about kind of I'd say smaller tiered fests, or the ones that really are, like you said, kind of focused on one screen. So it kind of keeps everybody together doing the same events at the same time.
I don't know how to say this. I guess Spam Chucker's Castle says Vanessa's not only an amazing director, but a fantastic human being. And if Spam Chucker says you can take it to the bank.
I'll go into the bank. Yes, taking it.
Taken to the castle, I guess. Yeah. So I watched Rainy Season, which is one of your short films.
Yes, that was actually like one. It was my first one.
Oh wow!
And so it's a Stephen King Dollar Baby. And for people who don't know what that is, could you explain?
Sure. Stephen King will release some of his short stories that have not been commercially produced. For the low price of $1, you can apply. And if you get accepted, you'll get a contract. You have a year to write the script and produce the film. The caveat being that you cannot profit from it. You cannot distribute it. He started it to really help student filmmakers and first time and aspiring filmmakers to get a little bit of exposure. And it doesn't hurt to have your name attached to his. So, first project out, I was like, Stephen King. Yeah, let's give it a go and see if this pans out.
So why did you pick Rainy Season?
2 reasons. I looked at the list of films and I wanted to pick one that had not been produced a bunch. He's got several stories that are very popular and they've been done dozens of times. And I didn't want that. Rainy Season had only been done one other time previous to me. So I was like, okay. And that filmmaker had taken a very different take. They kind of went a little bit more campy and I wanted to go kind of dark and atmospheric with it. And 2, when I read the story, it reminded me of Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, which is one of my favorite short stories of all time. King's as well. And he actually referenced that a few pages in. And I was like, okay, I'm in. I know what I want to do.
They said you started Renegade Film Festival because you were going to festivals. So were you going to festivals before you made Rainy Season?
I was, yeah. As a screenwriter, I was traveling with my scripts.
Right. So did you have any experience, making anything? I know you're a script writer, but did you have any experience being on set or anything like that when you went into Rainy Season?
Yes. I had actually have been working in film in some capacity since I had graduated from college in 1998. I worked in music videos for a couple years. Then I worked in commercials. And, we got our feet wet in college as much as you can when you're making student films, which was good training. So I wasn't completely thrown into the deep end with Rainy Season. I knew what everyone was supposed to be doing. I know what I needed to be doing, but still, it was the first time doing it and it was nervous. And the scope of the project was huge. I don't even think I realized at the time how big it really was with everything. And I mean, I had top-notch people that were so supportive and just wanted to kind of help me realize my dream. I mean, I'm looking around at all of this equipment and the people, and I'm like, how did I get here? How? I'm so appreciative, but oh my God, what am I doing here?
How did you go about casting the film? Were the actors people you knew?
They were not. I had actually someone help with the first round of casting. His name is Grant McGowan, and he runs a theater in Atlanta. And so he had been running some auditions and sending tapes to me. And that's how I found the lead. Brian Ashton Smith. I was just like, that is my John Graham. So then we had to find Elise. And at that point, I did just a open casting call and had people coming in to read. And Brian was kind enough to kind of take the day off and come in to read with them because I really wanted to. I needed him to have chemistry with whoever we were going to cast as his wife.
Were you always a horror movie fan?
Yes. People ask all the time, they're like, why horror? And I'm like, I don't know anything else. I'm a fan of all film, but I'd say horror was the first thing I was exposed to that really got me paying attention to film as kind of an art form. And I was noticing it a lot more, and I just kind of felt drawn to it more so than any other genre.
Were there any particular movies that stood out? Like this is, now this is the stuff I like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to have a soft spot for Poltergeist because it was the first film I saw. I was 8 years old and it scared the crap out of me. Yeah, it's so effective, and I mean, even now, I'm like, yeah, it's a creepy movie.
No.
And then, I was sneaking around because I wasn't allowed to watch those movies. And when cable was, I don't remember how long it had been around, but the USA Network used to have the what was his name? It was the Groovy Movies with he was like a superhero guy.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope somebody can tag it and say what his name is.
Wasn't Super Dave, was it? Was it
No,
Super Dave Osborne? No,
it was not. But he had a cigar, and I remember he used to
You're right.
burn
I
the
remember
happy
that
face.
too.
It was like Captain something or Commander.
I think it was Commander something. Yep.
Yes, and honestly, I don't even remember if the movies were edited to television or not, because I feel like I saw quite a bit. But the first Friday the 13th film I saw was part 3, and I was like, whoa, what is this? My Bloody Valentine wrecked me. I remember I was like, I don't want to go upstairs by myself. I was chasing them.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most underrated slashers is My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, it's so much fun. I never saw the remake, but I do really enjoy that original one.
Yeah, and the theme song's amazing at the end that plays during the credits.
Yeah, all those movies.
I cheated. I looked it up. It is Commander USA.
Commander. Right. Okay, we did it. Yeah, I mean, there's something really special, I think, about the movies of kind of the early 80s, and from the because there was no CGI, so everything was practical effects, and I really am just enamored by the artistry that goes into building a lot of those effects and those gags.
You said you had to sneak around because you weren't allowed to watch those movies. What did your parents think when you decided to make horror movies?
They were like, well, of course. This is Vanessa. I mean, I've just always loved Halloween and other kind of creepy, scary things, and it just kind of made sense. The interesting thing, though, is I'm also very scared of a lot of stuff. So, someone's like, how are you into horror and you're doing all this stuff, but you won't go to a haunted house? You won't do. I'm like, no. Too scared.
Yeah. Do they watch them? Do your parents watch the movies?
They do. Once I was a little bit older, we used to just watch them together. I mean, we still do it. My parents live like 20 minutes from us, and whenever something comes out to the theater, I'm like, you guys want to go see this? They're the first ones there. It's great.
Do you know what their favorite horror movie is?
Oh gosh. I feel like my mom would probably say something like maybe like The Bad Seed or Psycho, like something good and classic. But she probably would surprise me and I'd be like, oh, I didn't even know that. I don't know if my dad really likes them or if he just kind of tolerates them.
Yeah, it's something. If you like him, it's something fun to do together.
He was so cute at the fest this past weekend. He went in and he came out like in the middle of a block. He's like, oh, people are dying everywhere. I'm like, well, yeah, That's it. He's like, oh, there's stuff coming out. I don't know.
So when you finished rainy season, what did you decide to do with it? Send it to the festivals?
Yes, I sent it to every festival I could find. Knowing now what I know then, or knowing then what I know now,
Right.
I think I would have had a better strategy with my fest plan. I didn't understand at the time that I should have maybe looked for a good fest to kind of premiere the film. I should have been a little bit more strategic, but I was so excited for it to be done that I was just like, bam, it's going everywhere. So
yeah, I think that's how probably a lot of people are. But along those lines, what advice would you give to someone who finished their first short film or feature film and they wanted to send it to festivals?
I would research the festivals. I would talk to people because there's a lot of festivals out there that are kind of scams, or they don't really honor the films and the filmmakers. Like they'll pop up a screen somewhere and give no thought to like the technical aspects of how to screen it. And it's like, either you can't see it or the sound's bad. And it, as a filmmaker, that feels awful when you're there and you're like, oh, or if they're not promoting it and there's two people in the audience. So I would just say, do your research, talk to people, go to festivals that come highly recommended, check the reviews. But by all means, like get it out there and get as much exposure as you can. That's what it's for.
What are your thoughts on movies playing at conventions? Because I've been to conventions where they actually do a good job and people are there. And I've been to a lot of conventions where it was just me and my friend Annabelle were the only ones in there because they really didn't promote it at all.
Yeah,
it's
I have
almost
a lot
like
of
a place
thoughts
to go sit down, like while you're not getting autographs. Or something.
That's true. Some of them we've been to, like they don't even have them posted. You have to find them on your own. And it's like, wow, that's a bad way to do it. Yeah.
It's a terrible way. If any conventions out there want to talk to me about, because I have some ideas on how to make it better. And I'm certainly not going to throw any conventions under the bus, but there are some where, like you said, you can't find it on their website. It's not printed in their programs. You just kind of have to stumble upon it. And I'm thinking like, what a waste, because that's your audience. The people at horror conventions are horror fans. They love these movies. Why not show that to them? And the other thing is they'll often do like anniversary screenings or special screenings of films with their celebrity guests. Throw a couple of independent shorts at the beginning. Boom. You've already got a built-in audience. Give that audience to these filmmakers. I could talk for a long time on this. We won't, but yes, I think there's room for improvement.
Yeah. I remember in Texas Frightmare, I went to, they showed Spider Baby with Sid Haig there. And I was like, this is really a cool experience,
Oh, that had to be awesome, Neal. That had to be a real good time.
And they promoted it very well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That is
probably not the little indie folk like us. No, we're just like, I went to a huge convention and we were having to we were in the hotel across from the convention center. Nobody was there. We're having to solicit people to come see our films. I'm like, this feels wrong.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like I didn't want to name names either, but I remember I have good memories of it. It was Annabelle and I were at one big convention, and we were literally the only people there, and we felt bad. And the woman who was running it came in, and we were like, well, she's like, well, I'm just happy a couple people are enjoying it, so she let it play. But it's a sad feeling, that.
Oh, it is, especially I know filmmakers who have premiered at conventions because the conventions are huge and I get it. But then they get there and they're like, well, we're in a little ballroom and nobody's in here and nobody knew about it. And this is my world premiere. And it's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's the audience to watch a horror movie. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to twist their arm to get them in there.
No, it's excuse me. Do you want to watch a horror film? Yes, please.
God, yep.
And it actually keeps the audience in the hotel too, so they're there.
Oh yeah.
When it's over, then they can
win-win.
I mean, believe me, they could have the snack bar right there. There's no hungry. Yep. We'll feed you. Go watch the movie. Want a drink? Drink this. Go watch the movie.
So, what was the reception for rainy season when you headed out?
Good. So the first time it screened, I actually created my own little festival showcase, if you will, because I didn't want to, I was very nervous about like, I don't know, violating this agreement. So I had, I think, 5 other indie filmmakers who had short films, and we did a big premiere in the town where we shot it. So, it was sold out. The place was packed, and it got a great, reception. It felt really good. And I was like, oh, is this just because they're my friends or people know me and they want to like cheer me on, or, so I made sure to send it out for review to people who knew nothing of me, didn't know me from Adam, huge Stephen King fans, because I wanted honest work. To me, this was going to be a calling card, but it also needed to be an opportunity for me to grow as a filmmaker. And I think the only way you can do that is with honest feedback.
Yeah, it's nice. You don't want necessarily friends to say, hey, this sucks or something. But at the same time, like I said, if you want to get better, you have to have someone to tell you like what you can improve on.
Right. And I think there's constructive ways to do that. Sure, you can say, I didn't really like it. It wasn't for me. But it's like, well, what specifically didn't work for you? And was there anything that you did like? Because those to me are the things that are helpful. I see reviews of even big films and they're like, oh, this is trash. But it's like, well, why? Why did you think it was trash? It's fair. I'll accept it. But give me a reason. Don't just say it's trash.
Yeah, because there's movies that I might not like, but like I could see why someone else would like it. Not to say, hey, it sucks. This is why you don't like it, but that might appeal to somebody else. Right.
It's so subjective, That's why I always tell people, I'm like, there is an audience for every film. The stuff that we may think is just like ridiculous, someone out there is going to love it, and good for them. They should. There should be no, I don't want to say class system, but there shouldn't be any like
a competition.
Yeah. I remember like, it's kind of similar to music when people are like, oh, how could you like that band? You're so uncool. Yep. It's like, why? No, it's music. Don't mess with what other people like. It's their thing. Leave them alone.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
And I say this as somebody who like adores the New Kids on the Block as well as like the Ramones. Like, believe me, I'm not fitting into a box.
What were you saying, Troy?
Oh, I think it kind of goes back to the old Beavis and Butthead thing where just, don't explain anything. It's just, it sucks, So like if you like Picasso, but you don't like Van Gogh, don't give any explanations. Just say, well, Van Gogh sucks. Okay, that's good. Because how can you argue that? There's no way.
Oh, someone will find a reason. People love to argue.
Plus, I have noticed on the internet, usually something is either the greatest thing ever made or the absolute worst thing you've ever witnessed. And it's like, there's levels, like it could be okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's been, I'm sure you've seen it recently, but like there's been a whole lot of chatter on the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's like a camp of people who are like, yes, this is what we needed. It's great. And then other people just like, should be burned.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of hatred for it before it even came out. I've noticed, but I had to unfollow a couple of the groups because it got on my nerves, because it's like, okay, it's like, if you didn't like it, I don't really care.
You kind of want to like calm down, just then don't look at it anymore.
Yeah,
don't watch it.
I was in the camp that really liked it, and then there was like even the one group I was in, they're like, you'd have to. It was like they posted a thing like it's a dumb movie for dumb people, basically just saying you're stupid if you didn't like it, and it's like,
yeah, I don't like that. Like, don't insult the audience. Like, if you like something, like it. And I honestly, like, I want to hear why people like it or don't like it. I just don't like the insulting of like, you're an idiot for liking it, or you're not cool for like.
I could see why people wouldn't like it. Trust me, it's not perfect, but I enjoyed it. It was a crazy movie,
and that's what it's for. As long as you're enjoying it.
It's not Citizen Kane.
No. No.
I still prefer the original. I have my.
Oh, look at you with your fancy. I like that. Yeah. Is it a holiday
Yeah, it's an ugly Christmas sweater. I say it's a pretty Christmas sweater, though.
It is pretty. I like it. It's lovely.
Yeah, I dig it too, Neal.
Our mom, Troy and our brothers, my mom got it for me for Christmas.
Sweet.
She always gets the best gifts.
Yeah. I like that. I also get funny little horror clothing at Christmas. I'm like, oh, I'm that guy.
So, what's on the director's chair? I can't quite make it out.
Oh, it's yeah. That's fun now. It's my name. It just says Vanessa Ionta Wright, director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then before we went live,
I've never used it.
Oh, okay. But it's a cool for the background.
It's a cool prop in my office.
Oh, yeah.
I don't ever sit down on set. I'm too anxious and bananas for that. I don't sit down.
And you said that your mom before we went live gave you the clown in the background.
Yes. This is hard. I forget.
Kind of almost like right over your head and just slightly to your
right there. That guy.
That's it.
He's a cookie jar.
Oh, he is. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, the top of his head comes off. He's creepy, but cool.
Yeah. I think it looks kind of like something that would have been in Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
For sure. I could totally see that as like a nice little prop in there. He kind of looks like his face has melted a little bit into it, which kind of adds a little creep factor to him.
Yeah, I dig it. So Be a Hero is your PSA for giving blood, which is a very good cause. Did that mean something to you personally, giving blood?
Not in that I've ever been in a position to necessarily need it, but I have the good blood that everybody wants. I'm O negative, so I'm the universal donor, and they're always in need of it. And I know that that's a small thing to be able to give to save a life. So when I was asked to be a part of that, I was like, yes, absolutely. And I took the theme quite literally. I tried to throw in a little horror element with some of the gore, but to me, it was all about really being a hero and stepping up.
Yeah, I guess it's been 5 years ago now. I had a lot of near-death experience and needed blood, so I'm lucky that there's heroes out there who gave blood. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more people should do it if they can and they're able.
And where is Rainy Season online anywhere for people to watch?
No. Due to the agreement with Mr. King,
right.
It is not available. However, it actually is screening again at a fest in I think it's in Charlotte, called Joe Dance. It's part of Rock the Cemetery, which is coming up in April, so it will be screening there. But if anyone is really dying to see it, they can get in touch with me, and I know how to make it happen without it going public.
In general, I know that's a unique thing, the Stephen King ones, but it used to be like after a short play a festival, it'd really be nowhere for it to go. It just kind of disappeared. But over the last few years, I think shorts have become more popular, and there's a lot of platforms that they can go to after they do the festival run.
There are, and I would love to see him figure out a way to allow the filmmakers to put it out there, even if because to me, the filmmakers that are doing Dollar Babies are not doing this for money. They really are doing it just for exposure and to kind of showcase their talents and what they can do. So, I mean, if because there's so many that have been done. I mean, he could really do a huge collection and put out, the best of the Dollar Babies.
Like an anthology. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, take the proceeds and make a little film scholarship. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Right? Steve,
even do it
I'm
like
here if you want to talk.
Well, like a series or something, like there's so many streaming sites, put like 2 on an episode or something.
For sure. I would love it if he did that. And I would, fingers crossed that he would choose mine to be a part of that.
Yep. Yeah, do like a whole Nightmares and Dreamscapes kind of series or something.
Yes. Oh, I like where this is going.
Yeah. Then throw in, you can get like Joe Hill in there because he's got a bunch of shorts too. Like having a whole King family thing.
Yes, I'm in.
Yep,
We'll get them
me too.
in. I'm in.
I'll take my money. I'm ready for this.
Yes, I'll be the first in line.
So what have you been working on during the pandemic?
Well, I've been writing a lot. There wasn't a whole lot to do. I was actually in the middle of shooting a Western.
Oh, really?
When everything shut down, and we didn't finish, and we weren't able to finish because we were going to have to completely redo it. So that project and everything we shot kind of got scrapped, which stings a little bit because it was a really cool project, but I'm working on the feature version of it. So hopefully at some point we can get that in production, but I'm just working on a few short projects. Nothing that I can like really go too in depth with, but I am working on something with Adam Marcus, who directed Jason Goes to Hell.
Adam's a good guy.
Yes, he's putting together an anthology and has asked me to direct one of the segments.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
So that's about all I can say about that.
Yeah, I noticed.
But I'm really excited
on the link earlier. He said,
yes,
you were a beast. He said best. I think he meant you were a beast. But maybe he meant the best beast.
He's a beast. He's so sweet and funny. I've really enjoyed getting to know him.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy.
Yeah,
well, that's very exciting.
Yeah,
and the Western, just a straight Western. It's not a killer clown Western or anything?
No, it's a straight Western. I mean, it's violent as hell. So, I'm sure there's some sort of umbrella that it would fall under. I mean, I think I even use the term like, we're going to need to like Tarantino this up because the level of violence in it, but it's such a good story. So I'm really trying to just get that as polished as possible, because that's the one I really want to kind of take around. I don't want to cut corners on that and try to self-produce it. It's going to need money, a lot of money, and a lot of big people behind it.
Yeah. Can you ride a horse?
Can I ride a horse? Mm-hmm. I've ridden a horse several times. I wouldn't say that I'm very good at it.
Yeah, I guess I
did not fall off.
Right. Yeah. Well,
yeah. I would probably have to learn just so I could, I guess I would have, yeah. I've always made the deal, like whatever I would make one of my actors do, I will do myself.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
So,
So Lillian Gray, young actor, and I baked him a cake. She's great in them, and she's also in your first film. Yes. So how did you go about casting her?
So I met her through rainy season, and her mom had explained, she at the time, I want to say she was 9, I think, when I met her. Huge horror fan, and I'm like, oh, sweet baby child, yes. And she just really wanted to act and be a part of this, and like her favorite thing is like she wanted to get bloody and gooey, and I was like, I'm in. Let's do some stuff. And yeah, I thought honestly she would be great for I Baked Him a Cake, because she'd already kind of proven herself as far as her work ethic. I mean, she's such a professional. She does not complain. She does what she's told. She's not all over the place. Like, it was not, people always say, oh, don't work with animals and don't work with kids. But she was great.
Yeah, she's great in Baked Him a Cake. Really, it's a really powerful short.
Yeah, it's a very, very dark psychological story written by Samantha Kolyesnik. And I remember when I read it, I was like, oh, when are we doing this? And I'm so glad that she gave me the opportunity to kind of bring that story to life, because it's a great one.
Is that one available online?
Not to the public. I actually don't have like any I want to say like ownership or accessibility with it. So I don't know if Samantha's planning on ever putting it out anywhere like on Alter or something, but I would 100% support it going wherever. I think it's really cool, and I think people would love to see it.
I hate to ask this because you can't. It's probably not a good question to ask because you can't pick them out. But is there any standouts from Renegade Film Festival that you would like people to seek out if they pop up down the line?
Yes, because then it sounds like I'm picking.
Yeah, then you're picking out.
Honestly, I mean, you can ask anybody that was there. All of the films were standouts, and I'm not just saying that. Like, this was the one year where I constantly heard from people. There were several people that like went in Thursday at noon and did not come out until the awards Saturday. Like, they watched all of them, and they're like, every single film was amazing. And they really were. I was so proud of the program this year. We had, I would say, I'll mention some of the filmmakers that were actually able to attend with their film, because again, I always feel like you get a little bit more when you get to watch the film with the filmmaker. There was a great film called Scales, written by Noni Shiverick, that dealt with kind of the scars that are left behind after a sexual assault. So it was a pretty powerful film. There was one that kind of, plays a little bit on the dangers of, not the dangers of social media, but I guess kind of the viral antics of social media, called The Pay, which was really good and a lot of fun. Let's see, there was Bliss's Orange, was a phenomenal little kind of sci-fi romance. I should have had a list in front of me. A feature film. We had several feature films actually that everyone talked about. We had this Pakistani horror film that dealt with jinn possession called Maya. That was really, really unique and very powerful. And we got to see some fun, like studio films. We screened Freaky, which audiences loved. The writer Michael Kennedy was there to talk about it, and a really great documentary called Wolfman's Got Nards that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, about the Monster Squad, and Andre was there to Andre Gower.
Yeah,
I was there to kind of chat. So I mean, it was, and that kind of speaks to the fest as well. I mean, you've got these like studio films or higher budget films that are playing alongside these indie films, and we're all the same. Like, everybody was just like, no, we're all artists, we're all creators, we all have stories to tell. And to me, that was a really beautiful aspect to the fest, to see that.
Yeah. The Wolfman Got Nards, I saw that at Freight Fest in London.
Yes.
And Andre was there. It was very cool.
So good.
Yeah. One of my favorites when I was a kid, and it's like some other movies, maybe like Halloween 3, like it wasn't that popular at the time, but now it seems like everyone loves it.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, I mean, there's such the strong sense of nostalgia around it. And I think part of it was because it was such a good, authentic story. The characters were very real. I mean, these are kids that either we were or that we knew. And I think that lent to some of the love that surrounds that.
And cheap plug, there's for any German fans out there, the German Blu-ray release of a Monster Squad has interviews on there for me with Andre Gower and several.
Oh, sweet!
It's only a German release.
Only in German.
In English, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did you do it in German?
I did not.
The German fans love Nasty Neal.
Yeah, I don't even remember how it came up, but they asked
like
me.
The David Hasselhoff.
I was just going to say that you're the Hasselhoff of horror.
Yeah. I like it. That works still.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's put that on a shirt, please.
I'm totally for this.
All right, that'll be my next cartoon to do of you.
All right.
Yes.
I saw you're a graphic designer for 12 Fanboy. So did you like the poster art? Or?
Oh, for 13 Fanboy, yes.
13 sorry.
I did a couple of
12 is the prequel.
And 12 is the prequel. That'll come out next year. Yes, I worked on a couple of the posters for them. I don't not the one that went out with the official release of the film and the Blu-ray or the DVD. More so in the beginning for the campaign and stuff. But yeah, I was like, I dabble in graphic design. Let me see if I can come up with something.
Yeah, that's a fun movie.
Yeah, it was a fun one to work on, honestly. It was a great shoot. And
so I didn't realize you worked on the movie.
Yes, I was the production coordinator on that film. And I mean, 3 weeks in New Mexico with a bunch of horror, actors and nerds. It was great. It was heaven.
Yeah. So how is the horror scene in Atlanta?
It's good. I mean, I think just in general, the indie film scene is really, really strong here. But like we had, I mean, I'd say the strongest, most well-attended block at the fest was the southeastern one, the local one. Yeah, I mean, it's booming. Film is just booming right now here. So it's wonderful. It's good and bad. I mean, it's good because it's here, but it's, everybody's super, super busy all the time. So if you're trying to do your shoestring budgets and get your favors or be like, hey, who's got time to film on this day? It's like everybody's working. So
how did The Walking Dead affect that?
I mean, I think it affected it immensely. Not so much now because I know like they're
even though they're having all the spin-offs, but
yeah. But I mean, Sonoy, I don't know. I'm not from there. There's a big controversy as to whether it's Sonoya or Sonoy. But the city where they film it, they came in and honestly, there wasn't a whole lot there, and now that town is booming. I mean, it's busy. There's stuff to do. It's crowded all the time, and not like crazy city crowded. Like you can be there and do stuff. It's just it really, really, I think, boosted the economy.
Well, that's good. That's the town that zombies built.
Yeah, it is the town that zombies built. Yeah. Yes, and tore down.
Yeah, it is really weird how mainstream zombies became after The Walking Dead. Like it used to be just something like weirdos were into, but now it's you can get like lunch boxes or kids t-shirts with zombies.
I see kindergarten kids with zombies on their shirts and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, it's everything zombie.
I know when I interviewed Ken Faree, and he's like when the original Dawn of the Dead came out, he said like a lot of people like that kind of killed his career at the time because they saw it like one step above doing porn movies. And it's just weird to see how different that would be today.
Oh yeah, because now, horror in general. I mean, I feel like for a long time it was kind of like the black sheep of film. I mean, it was like, oh, you're into horror, those people. And it was like it was a dirty word, but now it I think is finally getting some respect. I love it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, even like I always check what movies are coming out, even at the AMC, and like almost every week or two there's horror movies playing, which used to be very rare. It would only be like a real big budget horror movie, but
no, you would only see them like maybe every once in a while there'd be like an October release, and it's like, oh, we gotta wait another year for horror.
Saw would come out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I know, like Neal, you were just saying there's a Korean horror flick coming out next week.
And it's not called Mom, it's called something like that. And then an X comes out next week too, which looks good. That's an A24 movie. But and then even just that like I said, it's an AMC, it's a main, but they show some independent. I saw Censor at the theater, which is more what you would normally think like would only play at like a festival or something, but it played at the theaters here.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think there's definitely more opportunities out there than there were before, for both sides. I mean, for fans to see these films and for the filmmakers to get their work out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not a snob, by the way. I go and see the big tentpole movies too. I go see pretty much everything, but I do see people complain about that, saying all the Marvel movies and stuff. But I go see lots of movies. There's other movies playing. You have to go support them though. So they're not going to play them very long.
Yeah, if you just sit around complaining that that there's big budget movies playing as well.
I'm just glad to be watching movies back in the theater again.
Oh God, yeah.
I agree.
People you miss out on such an experience when you get to share that with an audience,
Yeah, especially horror. I like I said, I go see everything, but there's something about horror or comedy, I guess. There's more interaction with the crowd when you're watching it.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. It definitely, I think, lends itself more to that because, both are kind of emotionally, I guess, charged. So you're kind of on a roller coaster with whoever's around you. You're either about to laugh or scream.
Yeah. I guess, everyone's sitting around crying together. I don't know if that's the same experience. Like if you're watching it.
It's an experience, but it's a little.
I don't know that they're crying either, I guess.
Or you're feeling like awkward and vulnerable, like, whoa, don't look at me.
Right. Yeah, I saw Studio 666 last week.
Oh, how is that?
It's very fun movie, I have to say. It's
good.
Not like the greatest film I've seen, but it's very fun. If you like Tenacious D, I kind of got a Tenacious D vibe from it. It's very bloody. It's just a fun horror movie.
Okay, well, it's next on my list. I've heard great things about it. It does look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was very fun. I would definitely recommend it. It's a good time, and I was happy that it was it played at the theater. It was fun. It was definitely fun to see on the big screen. I think anything's better on the big screen, but
100%. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, big movie, small movie, whatever. But I was happy there was a lot of people in there. I didn't know. I thought maybe I'd be the only person going to see the weird Foo Fighters horror movie, but there was people there. So.
That's great. So there's more of us out there.
Exactly. And there was a lot of older people there. But I guess the Foo Fighters have been around a while. But it was cool.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. So how do people follow Renegade Film Festival to see what's coming up?
Yes. Well, they can go to our website, which is renegadefilmfest.com. And we are on the 3 main social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can just search up Renegade Film Fest. I run all of that, so I try to keep it pretty active. But yeah, I mean, people can just follow along, reach out, send us a message. I'll respond as quickly as I can.
I know last one just happened, so we're probably a year away from the next one.
We are a year away. Yeah. The next one's going to be next March.
363 days. Mark your calendar.
Yes. Mark it. Yes. Don't make any other plans. You're coming to Atlanta.
Right.
But we try to promote and do stuff throughout the year, so we're not completely quiet. I even just sent an email to all the filmmakers that were in the fest. If anything's available, like let us know. We have a watch page on our website that links to everybody's film and where they can stream it.
That's very cool. And how about yourself? Where can people follow you? Not like back to your house, but
yes, don't come to my house. I hate the pop in. Oh, drives me crazy. Same. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. You can search me by my name or Creepy Girl with a K. That's some of my handles. I don't know. I'm really bad at talking about social media. I need a millennial to do this for me.
Well, honestly, when we started the show, there was first a friend, because we started in 2005. A friend started the MySpace originally.
Yes.
And then a guy listened to the show. He's like, "There's this new thing, Facebook. Do you mind if I make the without your head Facebook?" I was like, "Yeah, do whatever you want. I don't care."
Yeah.
Whatever. It's probably nothing. It's probably a site that will be there for a little while, but
yeah. Neal and I were like curmudgeons, like, do whatever you want.
It's true. When they come out, you don't know. Like we were like, oh, Facebook. Oh, this isn't going to be better than MySpace. No one's going to leave MySpace.
Right.
And then wasn't there another? There was like Friendster.
Friendster. Yeah, I
remember that.
I reference Friendster a lot. No, I don't think anyone ever knows what I'm talking about.
No, people are like, you're making stuff up. You're crazy.
Yeah.
It was real.
But I set up a lot of guests in the old days through MySpace. Adam Green and a lot of cool people. But
yeah.
Now you can't even. I tried to log into it because it's still there, but I can't even figure out the website anymore.
Is it different? I mean, is it?
It's completely strange looking.
What do you? We don't know what it is anymore.
I couldn't even figure out how to log in, so I don't know. I remember you had to like learn HTML code to even like put anything on your page and stuff.
I do remember.
Oh, that's right.
It was kind of challenging, but like it was really important to customize your. Your page or whatever they called it. Your space. Your MySpace.
Oh yeah, it wasn't even a page. I don't think then.
Mm-mm.
No, and you could put music and all kinds of, and I think now you're old if you're on Facebook, which whenever people make fun of it, I always feel bad because it's like the main one I use.
I know. Same here. I talk to all the kids these days and they're like, Facebook. I'm like, I know, with your Instagram and your Twitter and your Twitch and your Snap face stuff. I get it.
But yeah, I don't really enjoy the other ones. The Instagram is like a picture pops up, but I don't know. It's like that's cool.
I'm set in my ways and I'm comfortable.
Like, no one's talking or anything. I don't know.
I've set down roots on Facebook. I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck.
It is weird. That's like where all my pictures are stored, like on Facebook. When I think about it,
I know. It's like if this shuts down, like my entire life is gone. There'll be no record that I was here.
Yeah. What did I eat? Like September of 2007.
You're gonna want to know.
Yeah, you need to know.
Yeah, you're gonna want that smoothie recipe.
That's very true. I have posted because it was golden tea. This is a specific thing, golden tea. It's really good. And then when I make it again, I was like, how do I make that? And I would just search Neal Jones golden tea to find the recipe that I shared once.
Yeah. Oh well. See?
Yeah, exactly. For all the golden tea fans.
See, that's why Vanessa has the director's chair over there. She knows these things.
Exactly.
Right.
Like I just gotta lead Neal in that direction, and now we'll get the smoothie tale.
Yeah.
Perfect. That time I was suspended at Christmas for 30 days off Facebook. I'll be honest. So after a couple of days, I didn't miss it too much. But I was joking with a friend on Facebook, Robert Budzinski, I've known for years, and I said, "I'm gonna whoop your ass, Budzinski." And immediately, I was logged out, and it said it was a serious threat of death or violence. Wow. I was like, "Come on!" So you put in to fight it or whatever. And I wrote out the explanation, like, this is a joke. And immediately it comes back. This was reviewed and it's like reviewed in like a millisecond. I'm like, I'm sure someone read this. not like a day, 30 days, 30-day suspension. Wow.
That's extreme.
Yep.
Wow. Well, I've yet to get banned. I feel like
I've had a photo removed. I think that was it. Like I had a dog, one of my dogs on his back wanting a tummy rub, and they were like,
"Oh, inappropriate.
This contains, nudity or something." Like, yeah, but it's my dog.
My brother's into bestiality.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that says more about the person who would delete that. They're like, whoa.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like I just saw a dog's penis. I'm very upset.
Yeah. Wow. He's fixed. Don't worry. He's not doing anything.
This is a rabbit hole that we should explore sometime.
It's very bizarre. So I don't know where you go from that, but it's been very fun.
I put the stomp down on this one. Sorry.
I'm terrible at segues, so you do it.
But this was very fun. It was good to meet you.
Good time.
Yeah, I had a great time. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yeah. And thank you, Trista, out there, for setting us up.
Yeah.
We'll do it again sometime when she's back.
I would love to. All
right. Very good. All right. Well, have a good night or good day, whatever time it is there.
You too.
Bye,
everybody.
Yep. Good night.
Good night. Now I'll wave awkwardly while I hit end.